Adam here at the Digital Gadget Showroom, and in this video we're going to check out one of the most sought after DSLRs in the market, the Nikon D850. Stay right here. Thank you for joining us. Whether you currently own a D850 or are looking to buy one, today we're going to answer some of your most frequently asked questions regarding this professional grade DSLR camera. Introduced towards the end of August 2017, the D850 is Nikon's latest flagship in their full frame lineup, and it features some of the best technology currently available. Starting with its 45.7 megapixel backside illuminated full frame CMOS sensor, its incredible dynamic range, its speed, its low light performance, and of course its ability to record 4K ultra high definition video utilizing the full width of the sensor. That means no crop. Now that raises the bar of what it's possible to do with a DSLR camera. So without further ado, let's answer those questions. What are some of the main advantages of a backside illuminated sensor like the one that's found in the Nikon D850? So this is the first Nikon camera to feature a backside illuminated sensor. Now this is going to allow all the incoming light to reach the photodiodes more efficiently, making for great advantages in image processing as well as quality. For instance, you have a 45 megapixel camera that's able to capture all that information at 7 frames per second, even up to 9 frames per second when you're using the battery grip. In addition, you have an image sensor that allows you to capture incredible detail and clarity when shooting under low light. In addition, Nikon removed the optical low pass filter, and this is going to make sure that you get all the detail possible in your image. Are you capable of attaching a DX series lens to your Nikon D850? Another great feature of your Nikon D850 is the fact that you can still use your DX series lenses. So once you attach a DX series lens, the camera is going to automatically detect that it's a DX lens and do the cropping for you. Now in the viewfinder, since this is a full frame camera, the camera is going to generate a bounding area for you to compose your frame. So you're going to want to make sure that all the elements of the image are within that bounding area. Anything that falls outside is not going to be in your photo. Now if you need something that's easier or more clear, you can use the live view. That's going to give you 100% viewing of your DX crop mode. Remember also that there are many different aspect ratios that you can shoot in. So if you have your DX lens on your camera, you're still able to shoot in the 1:1 format, for example, and that's going to allow you to directly import right into Instagram if you want to put that beautiful shot that you've taken with your Nikon D850. Is there any benefit of shooting in the DX mode rather than just cropping the full frame image? In my opinion, one of the great features of this camera is the ability to shoot in multiple aspect ratios like the DX crop mode, which is actually maintaining the aspect ratio of the full frame. You're still shooting in 3:2, but you're getting that 1.5 crop factor. Now, the way I look at it is if you're shooting sports, you might be shooting 1,000 images, maybe 1,500 images. Think about having to crop all those images in the computer afterwards. I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend the time in the computer doing that. I like to get the stuff done in the camera itself. Choosing DX crop mode in the camera, if you're going to be cropping the images later, is helpful also because now it forces you to compose the image in the camera itself and not rely on cropping and making sure the elements work together later on in the computer. You do have the ability to shoot more images on your card. Remember, it's going down to 19 megapixels, so the file size is going to be much more manageable. You can also still shoot in RAW, shooting in the DX crop mode, which is going to give you the versatility of the RAW file to work your magic is improving, lifting up all the shadow detail and recovering some of that highlight detail. So in my opinion, if you know you're going to crop the image, you need some extra reach, and you don't want to spend the time in the computer, choose the DX crop mode in the D850. Could you explain some of the different focusing options found on the Nikon D850? The Nikon D850 has an incredible autofocus system. It actually takes a lot from the D5, which is Nikon's flagship camera. You have 153 autofocusing points. 99 of those are cross type, and 15 have the ability to focus all the way down to f8, which is a must-have for sports and wildlife photographers. Now, you also have the ability, if you have the focusing point in the center, to focus at -4 EV. That's incredible. You can focus pretty much in almost pitch dark. I think it's called nautical twilight. All the other points are going to be -3 EV, which is great for wedding photographers, especially if you're photographing a bride in a wedding dress. You can feel confident that the camera is going to hit on the autofocus every time when you need it. I've read that the Nikon D850 features a touchscreen. What are some of its features? So the tilting TFT touchscreen gives you a couple of different features to be able to do. You have the ability to use it as a touch shutter. This allows you to take the photo just by tapping the back of the screen when you're in live view. It also has the ability to be utilized to tap to focus. So you can tap the area that you want the AF point to hit, and it will do that, of course, in live view for both photo and video. When you're reviewing your image, you also have the ability to swipe through the images, and you can also do pinch to zoom, similar to like what you would do on your cell phone. Another great feature is that you have complete access to the menu system using the touchscreen. This helps when you're on the fly, so if you hit the information button, you bring up some of those quick access menu features. You can tap the ones that you want and quickly change any of the settings of your camera. Does the Nikon D850 feature silent shooting? And if it does, how do you set it up? Silent live view photography is one of the coolest new features on the Nikon D850. In fact, it's the only DSLR camera that can shoot completely silent. Now, the great thing about this mode is when you're in a situation where you can't make any sound, this is going to work perfectly. It's also great for shooting long exposures where you can't afford to have any vibrations happen due to the shutter. Now, as the name implies, you have to be in live view. Now, to access it, once live view is activated, you're going to hit the I button, and then you're going to select either mode 1 or mode 2 for silent live view shooting. In mode 1, you're going to be able to shoot up to 6 frames per second at full resolution. This is great, again, to make sure that you don't get any vibrations caused by the shutter, so when shooting any static objects or landscapes. Mode 2 is going to allow you to shoot at a higher frame rate at the DX crop at up to 30 or 15 frames per second at a burst of 3 seconds, and this is going to be at JPEG normal. What are some of the picture profiles available in the photo and video modes? In the Nikon D850, you have 8 customizable picture profiles. Now, these picture profiles allow you to enhance your photos to the way you like it. You have auto, which the camera is going to select the picture profile according to the scene it sees. You have standard, you have neutral, you have monochrome, you have vivid, you have portrait, you have landscape, you have flat picture profile. Now, these picture profiles are great to select when you're shooting in JPEG. Remember, if you shoot in RAW, you're able to select them in your RAW editor as well. If you're going to shoot video, you have access to all the same picture profiles. I do recommend using neutral or flat if you're going to want a color grade in post afterwards. Also, if you're going to shoot RAW, you can shoot in the flat or the neutral picture profiles, because this is going to allow you to get the most amount of detail in your highlights and your shadows. How do you activate the electronic level in the optical viewfinder? Let's find out. This is a great question because the indicator was not assigned to any specific custom button on the D850 like it was on previous cameras. All you have to do is go to the custom setting menu F, number 1, select the custom button that you want to assign the viewfinder virtual horizon to. This will give you the ability to activate it and deactivate it really quickly. How do you set up a custom white balance on the Nikon D850? So making sure that the colors, especially the whites, appear white in your photograph are important, and the Nikon D850, as well as most cameras, give you the ability to do a custom white balance. On the Nikon D850, there are 2 different ways. One, you can use a reference photo, and if you're going to do the reference photo, what I'd recommend is picking up something like the Easy Balance card from Lassolite, where you have a target on 18% gray, as well as a white side as well. Now, you can take a photograph of the card and making sure that this is in the light source, the majority of the light source that's lighting your subject matter. You're also going to make sure that there's no shadows being casted on the card itself. You photograph it, and then you go into the camera's menu, and you're going to select that image as your reference image. for your custom white balance. Now there's also a different mode where you could do a direct white balance preset, and you have 6 different presets that you can set. The way that's going to work is, again, you're going to hit the white balance, you're going to use the command wheel to change to the preset white balance, and then you're going to hold down white balance for about 3 seconds until the letters PRE are flash on the top LCD screen. Once they start flashing, you can go ahead and again, you can take a photograph of something like this in your frame, making sure that there's no shadows being casted on it. And once you do that, you can save it in either D1 through D6 for your custom presets. How many continuous images can be shot on the Nikon D850 when you're shooting in RAW or JPEG? So the Nikon D850 has the capability of recording a 45 megapixel frame at 7 frames per second with the standard ENEL15A battery. Now, if you want to get up to that 9 frames per second, you're going to need to purchase the MB-D18 vertical grip, as well as the ENEL18A battery. That's going to allow the camera to be able to shoot at the 9 frames per second. The camera has a buffer depth of 200 images when shooting JPEG. Pretty much you can shoot until the cards are full. If you're going to shoot in continuous RAW, you're going to get up to 50 images before the camera's going to start slowing down. I would recommend purchasing an XQD card if you're going to want to shoot continuous and you're going to want to shoot in the RAW mode. So I'm stepping up from the Nikon D810. What can I expect with the new video features found on the Nikon D850? The Nikon D850 allows you to record really incredible 4K footage. Now the color science from Nikon is just so beautiful. I particularly really like the way this camera records 4K footage. Now you can have the ability to record 4K at up to 30 frames per second. If you want to record slow motion, the camera is capable of recording up to 120 frames per second at 1080p. Now the camera does have some video assist features like zebra patterns for exposure and focus peaking for focusing. Now if you're going to record in 4K, you're going to have to make sure that you're using some other external monitor if you want focus peaking, because focus peaking won't work in the 4K mode. It's only available in 1080. Talking about 4K, the camera is able to export uncompressed 4K signal from the HDMI. So if you get something like an Atomos digital recorder, you can go from the camera to the recorder to get uncompressed video. You have the ability to record to an XQD card as well. And all your picture profiles, remember, as I mentioned in another question earlier, are available for shooting with 4K and 1080 footage. I've heard that this camera can record 8K video. Is that even possible? No, unfortunately, you cannot record 8K video at this time. But what the camera is capable of doing is recording an 8K time-lapse video, and that's set up into the camera itself. And the time-lapse feature, it's a really neat feature to have. It's something that's becoming really popular and used a lot in today's videos. Well, that wraps it up on our frequently asked questions for the Nikon D850. If you have any other questions or comments or feedback, make sure to leave those in the comment section below, and I will get back to them as soon as I can. Remember, hit us up with a like button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. And if you're in the Miami area, come by, say hello at the Digital Go To showroom. Adam here, keep on shooting. I'll catch you in the next video.